All right, there you go. The man, Craig Breslow, leader of the Red Sox player development. Players in general. That's
swinging big.
That's right.
He was brave.
Going big.
He was brave.
Oh, brave. Yeah, that's the word I'm hearing.
I was yelling for him to be brave in the weeks leading up to the deadline. Oh, boy, was he ever.
Yeah. So, yes, that's the word I'm seeing now is brave.
Are you really? I just made that up.
No,
I haven't seen that
that's
anywhere.
what I've been reading.
Oh, wow.
He's brave. Stepping out there on a limb. Welcome into The Drive on this Tuesday afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on Maine Sports Leader 92.9 The Ticket. Jim Churchill and Mark Paulette here in the Greenway Equipment Studios. Brought to you by your locally owned John Deere dealer, Greenway Equipment Sales. See the Smith Brothers in Bangor and Ellsworth because nothing runs like a Deere. The Drive presented by Next Home Experience, the market leader. Get looped and get sold with Next Home Experience. So the trade deadline yesterday has come and gone, and the Red Sox bringing some additions to this roster. We'll see if they pay off.
Yeah, I'm just happy that we had an entertaining day yesterday for a sports fan, like with the Red Sox making 3 moves, a couple larger ones. But around the game, there were so many moves flying all over the place around baseball that it just felt like what you used to envision on July 31st when I would be sitting at home in the middle of the summer watching like a 8-hour Nesson show go all day about the trade deadline. It kind of felt like the good old days where there was a lot of activity, which we really haven't seen in recent years because of how many teams are going after it.
Yeah. So back in the day, Mark, you wouldn't remember this, but the trade deadline would be at midnight.
It used to be midnight, yeah.
It used to be at midnight. So, I mean, and I was up anyway, but you'd have to stay up until 1 because, you know, technology wasn't where it is now, and some things would take a little bit longer. Probably fax machines were used. I'm sure fax machines are still used, but back then they were the
only way.
There was no email. So anyway, things just took a little longer. So you had to stay up because things would trickle in. And yeah, they learned that might not be the best time to get the news out there. So now, what was the deadline? Was it 6 p.m.?
6 o'clock yesterday.
Okay,
yep.
6 o'clock. Some deadlines are at 4 o'clock, but 6 o'clock is a fair time. But anyway, different feelings on the Red Sox trades. They gave up a lot to get Adley Rutschman from the Orioles. He's a switch hitting catcher. Obviously, the Red Sox had one of those at one time, Jason Varitek, and that trade proved to work out pretty well, coming to the Red Sox with Derek Lowe for Heathcliff Slocum.
That was a solid one.
That was a solid deal. One. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, Rutschman obviously came up
like a franchise
shot
changer.
out of a cannon.
Yeah.
I mean, he was putting up great numbers. Again, a switch hitter, good defensively, but things have kind of fallen off. He's had some injury issues this year, a knee, now a wrist. In between, there was a concussion thing, got hit by a pitch, I guess. But
that's part of it. The guy's been on the shelf for the last 2 weeks. So, like, when is he ready to go right now? Is it going to take a little while? Like, that's my first question that I haven't really seen answered because he hasn't played since July 18th. He's only hitting about 216 since May 12th when the injury started to take hold. I think it's 3. I think it's even less.
Worse.
So, the production has dipped, but yeah, they gave up a lot on paper, but 3-time All-Star catchers don't grow on trees. They're not out there for the taking. Yeah. I know
the whole All-Star thing. Like,
yeah, he was on the
so
Orioles.
Many bad catchers out there. There's so few good ones. So, I mean, he's proven to be good or has been good in the past. They just got to get him healthy and rejuvenated with the new organization, and hopefully he'll get back close to where he was.
He's also a guy that in his career has raked at Fenway. Like, he sprays it all over the diamond, so he'll use the monster. He'll go the other way, obviously a switch hitter against lefties, but I think he's a guy who you can put him at the top of the lineup if you want. Probably not when you're at home. You won't be batting him leadoff because you want to give your catcher a little break, maybe drop him down to 5th or 6th or so, but he is a good on-base percentage guy. He is an impact for this Red Sox lineup because of what this Red Sox lineup has been for the entirety of the season. Even while they've won 23 of the last 26 games, which is insane to say. They're 23-3 with 8 straight series victories since the beginning of July. And you look at the lineup, and the bottom third on a given day is hitting around the Mendoza line, not contributing all that much. So he is an impact there. And as far as the price that was paid, like Ianson, I really would have liked to hold on to him at this deadline because I think he has electric stuff in that arm.
Well, we're going to get to see him. He's going to the Orioles.
Get to see him a bunch.
Get to see him a lot.
Other than that, though, like Witherspoon's got a 5 ERA in A-ball. The other kid that they traded away, the number 5 prospect, is 19, and he's projected to make the majors in 2029, if he even gets to that point. So, I mean, think about what we thought of Marcelo Meyer and Christian Campbell at this time last year and where they are now. Prospects are just potential. I'll take the MLB ready all-star on my team right now. Yeah,
the other thing with this deal is Rutschman only has one more year under team control after this one.
May or may not be played next year.
Right. So that's something the Red Sox had to consider as well. But he certainly, just by his name, when he's healthy. Now, the Red Sox did this a few years ago. They got Kyle Schwarber, who was not able to play for a couple of weeks. And then when he was able to play, he lit it up.
He got within 18 innings of the World Series, Game 6 of the ALCS.
Got a nice deal from the Phillies. So we'll see how it goes with Rutschman. Then they got a left-handed reliever. They traded Marcelo Meyer, who Mark just mentioned, for a pudgy lefty.
Yeah, this guy straight out of 1978 with the body.
Yeah, if you remember way back to Red Sox fans, to Reggie Cleveland. This would be the older fans out there. And maybe slightly younger Rick Russell, who was a right-handed pitcher. Both Cleveland and Russell were right-handed pitchers. Mr. Miller's a lefty, but he has a similar hair-type body.
He fills out the middle of the uniform, but he uses that girth to throw it like 99, 100 miles an hour. Yeah, he uses all of it to his advantage.
Yeah, so we'll see. And I still believe in Marcelo Meyer. I think he's got some growing up to do, some maturing to do, but you just have to watch this guy a little bit. You see he's got the athletic ability, and whether it's with the Giants or somebody else, I think he's going to prove to be a pretty darn good Major League shortstop. I hope it is with the Giants. I like the Giants, and I hope he blossoms there.
Yeah, he just wasn't – Boston wasn't the fit for him. And part of that was the Red Sox and the organization's fault, because I don't think they really handled his call-up last year all that well. Cora was weird regarding him from the beginning of – almost singling him out to be like one of the guys I'm going to be hard on to put the most pressure on him, and we're going to squeeze out a diamond out of it. And I don't think he was necessarily that kind of guy that responds the best to that kind of treatment. He's a California kid. He said as much to Chris Cotillo after the trade, saying, I'm not bitter about leaving the organization, but I'm looking forward to a fresh start and maybe not having as much of a leash on me. And it's like, okay, buddy, you didn't have a leash on you in Boston. You were given 4 years to be the future of the franchise and get hurt every year.
Yeah, and I can't remember all of his injuries. One was a wrist or hand injury, wasn't it?
Wrist, hand, side. He had a bunch of stuff.
So we'll see. Time, as I always say, Mark, we will see, or time will tell.
I mean, that'll be one that probably will come back to bite the Red Sox, right? Because if Marcelo Meyer turns into anything,
I mean, how many years
traded him for a lefty reliever?
I don't know what Miller's contract is, but I mean,
he's like pre-arb. You got him for now. He's 28. He's not a prospect. He's a guy that broke in his mid-20s, and year one had like 74 appearances. Last year had a 1.50 ERA. This year 2.76. Again, he throws it hard, so he brings something to the table, but after the years of hype we heard around Marcelo Meyer, you traded him for a lefty reliever.
Right. Yeah. And Ernie put this out in an email to us. I mean, imagine telling us, Red Sox fans, 2 or 3 years ago that Marcelo Meyer would be gone, Kyle Teal would be. I mean, these guys were like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Teal's gone. Red Sox Anthony's fallen out of favor.
Yeah. Roman Anthony has been banished to Fort Myers. There was one other name on there. Oh, Christian Campbell, who has obviously had his ups and downs. Now, my wife said this, and sometimes I have to get a second opinion. But has Campbell been doing better over the last couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, like last 20, 25 games.
Okay.
He's hitting around 300, but again, I think it's raised his average to like 240 or 250 for the year.
Yeah, but I mean, we need to see a trend with him. I mean, the problem there, I mean, what baffles me is, and it happens, he's not the only young baseball player this has happened to, but he performed at every level on his way up, and I'm not talking, just average. I'm talking way above average on his way up at every level, and obviously started out with a bang with the Red Sox. He was the AL Rookie of the Month in April last year, but since then, whether it's adjustments other teams have made or bad habits he's fallen into. I don't know what it is, but he's obviously struggled. But, yeah, I mean, we got to get him, whether it's to help the Red Sox or to trade him, whatever the case may be, we got to get him playing better.
Because now we see Craig has traded away 5 of their last 6
He's
first-round draft picks.
trying to wipe away the Chaim Bloom era. He's just trying to single-handedly.
He's all of a sudden running the Red Sox like the L.A. Rams.
Right.
He's just sending them all out.
Old Chaim, who did a pretty good job in hindsight. The Drive is brought to you by your local family-owned McDonald's on Main Street and Union Street in Bangor, Wilson Street in Brewer. Going to tell you about a special thing McDonald's is doing here coming up very shortly as we're about a month away, probably less, in most places, away from school starting.
Oh, God,
We're seeing all the back-to-school stuff going. And by the way, I saw a bunch of Halloween stuff in Lowe's the other day, and it really depressed me. It was exactly. I saw it on July 31st, and I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't happen for exactly 3 months. I mean, it's just ridiculous how they have to move things, or you have to move on to the next best season or next thing so quickly. So now you got Rutschman behind the plate. Now, what is the prognosis? Like, when is he going to be back?
I legitimately have not seen that.
I mean,
That's what
August
I'll be asking
4th.
of Bob Nightengale today, of Chris Hatfield when we talked to him.
Okay.
Like, what do you guys know? When is he coming?
So in the interim, we got Connor Wong behind the plate.
Yep.
Because Narvaez was part of that deal. And we got this other guy, Rogers.
Jake Rogers hitting $163 with 3 homers.
Well,
so that kind of leads me to believe that maybe Rutschman won't be around for a couple of weeks if you kick in another catcher.
Right. They had to have another backstop to fill the gap there. Contreras at first. Second base.
Question mark. You're just
Siegler.
whatever you can.
Whoever
Sogard,
can't play
Siegler,
the other
Romy,
infield positions well. Put
whoever's
them there.
left over.
Shortstop, Monasterio has been the main man there recently.
The guy's hitting the cover off the ball. He boots about
Bit of
a
a
ball a
liability
game
defensively, yeah.
If you could turn Andrew Monasterio and Nick Sogard into one player, you'd have a real good backup middle infielder.
And then you got Durbin at third, and then your outfield, Duran, who was not traded.
No, apparently he was told ahead of time.
Him.
The Red Sox were keeping him.
Yeah. And then obviously you got Abreu and Rafaela and DH, Yoshida, whoever.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, they're a better team post-deadline. They paid a big premium to get there, but they're a better team post-deadline. And the way that they're playing, again, 23-3 in the last 26. It's like 28-5 in the last 33, 12-0 against the best teams in baseball over that stretch, who you welcome. I was going to say you welcome another one of them back to Fenway tonight, but at this point, the Red Sox have leapfrogged the White Sox as far as the American League standings, 60-51 to 59-52.
Patrick Sandoval will be on the mound for the Red Sox tonight as they get back home after their successful road trip and the trade deadline, as they do host the Pale Hose at Fenway Park. Red Sox now 9 games over 500, so that makes Chad Tracy 16 games over 500 in his managerial tenure thus far with the Red Sox. Pre-game show at 6:10. The White Sox, a surprise this season at 59-52, and a few former Red Sox on their roster.
Yeah, Teal's a bit banged up at this point of the year, but Chase Mydroth has turned into a solid player for them, helping it out. Montgomery is up with them now. Brady Montgomery playing the outfield, a former first-round draft pick of the Sox a couple of years ago. So that one, I mean, it worked out for the Red Sox last year, and it should work out in the long haul, but there's another one of a trade that you gave up a lot to get a lot in return.
Let's tell you about the show today leading up to the Red Sox. Here momentarily, we're going to be joined by Jack Webb, of course, the sports director at WVII and Fox 22 and broadcaster on UMaine Football. And now he's got a new gig. He's going to be working for the Pats.
Yeah, official employee of the New England Patriots, running their pre- and post-game show on social media.
So good news there for Jack. We'll talk to him about that and other things. Bob Nightengale from USA Today will join us right around 4:40. We got a Sports Center and a weather forecast for you as well. And we're going to pick up with our Red Sox ticket sweepstakes as we look forward to giving out 4 more tickets coming up
Monday, right? The roast is drawing that one?
Yes, Monday the 10th for the April 17th game against August 17th game. That's going to be against the Diamondbacks at Fenway Park, and then we'll have one More four-pack to give out on September 2nd. We'll do that on the drive. That is for a game against the Angels at Fenway Park. So we'll open up the phone lines for the sweepstakes. Got to listen for the cue to call. For that, of course, our Red Sox ticket sweepstakes presented by Dunnett's Appliance and Service. And we appreciate their support. We got the drive poll coming up. We're going to talk about the trade deadline and how it involved one of the bigger markets in the baseball world. A lot of
conspiracies rising out of that.
And Chris Hatfield will join us from SoxProspects.com. We'll get the lowdown on what the Red Sox actually gave up and what Chris thinks of those prospects and what their future might hold. And later on in the show, more great things to be given away here on The Drive. We're going to give away a VIP 4-pack to the Tim's Plumbing 100 this Saturday at Ricky Craven's Speedway. So it's the Tim's Plumbing 100 Saturday, August 8th, this coming Saturday, and we've got 4 VIP passes we're going to give away. You'll pick them up at Tim's Plumbing, 22 Freedom Park in Herman, but we're going to give them away coming up in the drive at 5.
All kinds to give away.
All right, we'll take a break right here. We'll remind you the drive is brought to you by Union Street Towing. They've got you covered 24/7 statewide, from breakdowns to lockouts. They'll get you moving fast. Call 942-4200. That's Union Street Towing, driven to be there when you need them the most. And we're brought to you by Casella. Good pay, good people, good life. Find your place at powerofhardwork.com. We'll be right back.
Did you ever able to catch himself there? This deal will either get done, or how does that sentence usually end? He just transitioned real quick into, when it gets done, we'll do X, Y, and Z. He started off, this deal will either get done or, and then real quick pivoted.
He also said the rumors of him and Diana Rossini were laughable.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Yeah. We know he's good at answering on the spot.
He shows a lot of dexterity in his vocabulary, we might say. Welcome back into the Greenway Equipment Studios. This is The Drive on a Tuesday afternoon. The Drive brought to you by Bangor Mall Cinemas, Greater Bangor's favorite hometown theater for over 40 years. Bangor Mall Cinemas feature luxury recliners and an upgraded food menu. Find show times and reserve your seat at your neighborhood theater.com. Of course, that was Mike Vrabel talking about the contract negotiations for one Christian Gonzalez, otherwise known as Gonzo, one of the best in the league. We'll see where things land there, but I do expect he'll be getting a new deal and will be performing for the Patriots here in the upcoming season. Let's go to the Heroes Hotline. Joining us on the line, the sports director at WVII Fox 22. His name is Jack Webb. And I was telling you off air, Mark, I was just flipping through the channels a little bit there last night, and I landed on WVII, I think it was at that point, after 11 p.m. It was at the tail end of the newscast, and I saw Jack Webb, and I'm like, why is the sports director sitting at the anchor table? Well, the reason being he was anchoring last night.
Adding a title by the day.
That's right. Jack, was that the first time you did that, or have you done that before?
I've done it a couple times before.
Okay.
I will say, everyone understands life happens sometimes. You run into situations, and they needed a pinch runner. So I was happy to step on first base and try to steal a couple bags for him. Now, where I feel awful is, you get interviewed during the day, and you probably wait all day for the 10 p.m. show, and then you realize they've got the big fat sports guy sitting at the anchor desk, and he's going to butcher your name. So to those people, I apologize. We were rolling with the punches. We did the best we could. I left it all out in the studio. How about that? So that is my formal apology to anyone's name or any town's name I messed up last night. But I'll tell you what, the bullets start flying fast when on that teleprompter. It's on the slippery slope.
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, I look at you more as a pinch hitter rather than a pinch runner, Jack. I just want to say that.
Come in, clear the bases.
And I think you are exactly right. I'm not sure I've ever been a pinch runner in my life. I've only used them.
Right.
So that was the term I was looking for, Jim. Thanks for clarifying that.
All right. Well, first of all, after that, congrats on your new job with the New England Patriots. Tell us what we're going to be able to see here and hear.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Seriously, it is a dream come true. It all happened pretty fast, and I'm extremely grateful. I'm feeling extremely grateful right now, and especially to the University of Maine, and specifically Tyson McHatton, just for all the opportunities he gave me and it's allowed me to reflect kind of on the short journey that's led up to this. And I am so excited to fill in this role and attack it and try to make the absolute most of it, just because, I mean, what an opportunity it is to work for the New England Patriots and cover this team that I and everyone else listening right now grew up loving and following religiously. And so I will be on the Patriots pre- and post-game show on their website, patriots.com, and also their YouTube page, along with their socials. Will be an hour and 15 minutes before every kickoff. So on your standard, 1 p.m. will be at 11:45, and then we'll be on for anywhere from hour 30 to 2.5 hours after the game. It's a really cool format if you've never watched it before. I'm on with Mike Dussault, Paul Perillo, who are both Patriots reporters, and then we actually have a 15-year Patriots veteran joining the booth this year. I say the booth, the studio this year on the pre- and post-game show. I'm not sure if it's been formally announced yet. I'm not going to spoil it as the new guy, right? And
Probably a good idea.
I know. So just know it's a very fun name that you will definitely be familiar with. That's going to join us every game before and after, and we also take emails and live callers. So it's kind of like a mix of sports radio and a pre- and post-game show that you would get, listening to, maybe the Sports Hub down there or something like that. Except it's just streaming and it's from a studio right off the field at Gillette Stadium. So I could not be more grateful, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, you probably said it, and I missed it, Jack, but how far ahead of the opening kickoff do these programs happen?
Yeah, so it does start at 11:45 on your regular 1 o'clock kickoff. It comes. Okay. We go on an hour, 15 minutes before every game, and we're on 5 to 10 minutes right after kickoff. If you go find the YouTube page, go on the website, we'll be right there live. And honestly, the post-game, from what they tell me, has been used as a therapy session during losses because you got live callers. You interview a player, on both wins and losses, and it's just a really fun program that is made and tailored for Patriots fans. So I really hope people will join us after and have some fun, hopefully after a lot of Patriot wins.
How's this getting you fired up for the season? Because training camp just started a couple of days ago. You're starting to see the guys in pads now. We got the first preseason game coming up on a week from Thursday night. It's got to give you a little extra juice heading towards the Patriot 2026 season, doesn't it?
Yeah,
but also, how do you think they're going to do this year?
Yeah, try a shot in the ass, Mark. Excuse my language, but it is
Patriot steroids right to you.
Yeah, quite literally almost overdosing. You know what I mean? It is. I'm unbelievably fired up, but it was fun. I got to go down and practice on Saturday and actually do their post-camp, just quick video they do when all the reporters react to, with Lazar as well. They react to the practice they just saw, and just being at training camp, seeing these guys in person. Former Black Bear Xavier Holmes working in with the ones in a couple packages, actually, so he's in good standing. But it was just so great to see Drake May slinging the ball around. Kyle Williams had a good practice. But the things that are almost, make me nervous as a lineman are these edges on the team, both on the defensive side of the ball and the offensive side of the ball, are going to dictate how far the Patriots go. The offensive tackles and Morgan Moses, how long can he stay healthy, or if Caleb Lomu has to step in, can he do it, as just kind of a young rookie that is more so a project and a guy you're expecting to be good, in a year, maybe 2 years, rather than just an impact guy right off the bat. And obviously Will Campbell and the struggles he had in the playoffs. And then the lack of depth around the edges. Obviously the interior of that defensive line is, up there with the best in football with Barmore and Milton Williams. But it's just the edges, right? And how competitive can those guys be in both protecting Drake May and then getting after the opposing quarterback? I think you saw that was probably the story of the Super Bowl, right? The Patriots' lack of pressure around Sam Darnold at times, and then the just Drake May beat-up fest it seems to be from that Seahawks front seven on the star quarterback from the Patriots. So I think that is the story of the season for me. That's what I'm monitoring here early on, and it's kind of the early make or break. But if you can even get average play from those guys, you're looking at a playoff team. You at the very least, like you always want to do, win both or at least split with Buffalo, take care of the rest of the division. I think the New England Patriots, you're looking at, 10, 11 wins easy, hopefully more.
You're sticking on the edge right there. You were mentioning that as being key for this team. What do you expect from Gabe Backus this year? Because he's now in camp. He's on the field. He was talking for the first time either yesterday or today. And, physically, just looking the part. The guy looks the part. But what do you expect knowing that surgery and the injury kind of lingered and the back and forth there between the team and everything going into camp? Is he going to be kind of someone that you see come along as the season goes along? Or can he kind of wind this into form over the next month and be a factor from game one?
Well, I'm not even sure. The practice today was out in the open, so I'll have to read up on that. I've been all Maine Black Bears today, but yesterday was kind of the first time he was really going inside, so no one saw it. But when you think of expectations, you don't even know. I'm not even sure if you can form any yet, because when he got drafted, you got experts like Mel Kiper saying this might have been the steal of the draft, probably best value pick in the entire draft. You get excited about him. You're like, holy crap, this is what the Patriots need. A second-round pick is going to make an immediate impact. He played all 4 years at Illinois, right? He's built, he's big, he's NFL ready, right? That was kind of what you heard about him. And then he just disappears, right? And it's kind of like, what is going on with this guy? Training camp's about to start. He's still not even here. And then he's finally working back in. Okay, all of a sudden you see him. He looks like a mountain of a man. He's a beast. He runs a coach over in that viral clip, that went around Patriot Nation in his first practice. And I'll be very eager to see, as they ramp it up in joint practices in these preseason games, what he looks like. I think the preseason games and how they use him will tell us a lot about if he's actually going to make an impact this year for the Patriots, or if it'll be a backup role and almost a redshirt season for him.
I'm just thinking here, Mark, as I was listening to Jack's words intently. The first time I got to know Jack, and it wasn't like we had a conversation, but he mentioned the Maine Black Bears, obviously Black Bear football, getting started later this month. Was a member of the team, but I kind of got to know him as a shirtless big guy in the front row.
That is
at
my
the
first
pit,
recollection of Jack
twirling.
Webb.
I believe it was like a tie-dyed shirt. Did you have one of those at one time?
Leading the charge at the Maine women's games, though.
Right.
That's when I first became aware of Jack Webb out there in the universe. And look at
Here
him
he
now,
is.
3 short years later, running Patriot shows.
There you go.
Well, it's quite the climb, and I will say, I wrote a couple checks with my mouth that I couldn't cash. I'll never forget my first role on air, outside of doing stuff with you guys and Jim giving me that opportunity. My first role on camera was the sideline reporting for the women's basketball team, and I'll never forget the first time I had to look that Binghamton head coach in the eye as a professional, and I was hoping, praying she didn't remember all the things I screamed at her and my shirtless antics.
You look familiar.
And as we locked eyes, I saw it all coming back to her, and it was a very awkward game. And honestly, I don't know if you remember that year, the Ann Simon, the year they won the title at home against Vermont, that first-round playoff game. It might have been a second-round playoff game against Binghamton. They had a scare. And I was like, after all this, if I have to interview this Binghamton head coach, look her in the eye, I don't know if I can do it. So thank goodness the Black Bears stuck it out for us on that one. But that is just a small story of that kind of coming back to bite me in the butt in a professional sense. But I do not regret it for a second. I bleed Maine Black Bears.
There you go. And speaking of the Black Bears, you said you've been covering the Black Bears football team early in camp there as well, but just your thoughts on the upcoming season for you, Maine. The schedule looks very manageable, very
schedule
doable.
Looks manageable. It absolutely looks doable.
Other than the fact that the first 5
games on the road,
only one of them is at home. Other than that, is it 6?
That's how it always seems to go.
Yeah.
That's how it always seems to go for the Maine Black Bears. We're always spending the first month of the season on the road, seemingly. But I will say, for the first time in a long time, one of the strongest units on this team is the offensive line, and that should get you excited. If they're in a quarterback battle right now with Caden Drezick and Eddie Bueller, those are kind of the two guys. Mike McMahon, he's a sophomore now that is competitive, and he's really about the right stuff, but I'm not sure he's going to break through in this QB battle like it looked like he was in the spring. So it feels like a two-horse race between Drezick and Bueller. Both guys bring a little bit different. Drezick, almost more like a pro-style, like just rocket arm lefty. Bueller can sling it, but Bueller's almost more like a little Aaron Rodgers-ish in his prime, a little more mobile.
Oh, don't do that to him.
Well, no, you know what I mean.
I know.
We're going on
the player, yes.
Yeah, correct.
Type of player, not person.
Correct. I'm just trying to allow you to envision what you might be, the type of player you might be getting with that. And he's a little more gunslinger, moxie. And I don't think you're going to go wrong with either guy, but this season kind of rests in their hands because I think you take for granted when you bring in a veteran like Carter Peavy, who might not be the best quarterback in the league, but he's good enough for, to vie, kind of vie for a winning season and carry this team and make smart decisions for the most part and be that veteran, whereas you got two guys now who don't have a ton of playing experience, if any at all, and you're going to see how they react, when the real bullets start flying. So if they can get solid quarterback play, I think they're going to be in a really good spot. But that's always the toughest question mark to have at the most important position in sports.
Yeah, again, Maine football schedule, one of the first 5 at home. It is on September 12th, a Saturday, hosting Merrimack, and then they'll be back at home facing another one of your former teams, Sacred Heart, Jack, on October 3rd.
We'll have fun with that one. Yeah,
no doubt about it. Jack, obviously locally, sports director for Fox 22, WVII, the fall sports season not far away as well. So you're going to be a busy buck here in just a few weeks.
These will be some of the best weekends of my life when I get to go Maine high school football on a Friday, call a Maine football game on a Saturday, and then ship it down to Gillette on a Sunday. It will be busy. I will be exhausted, but it will all be worth it because that is called living the dream right there.
All right. Hey, Jack, congrats again on the new gig with the Patriots. We look forward to that. We look forward to your work. Maybe not as a news anchor, although I can't judge it because I only caught he was signing off, I think, basically. And I'm like, wow, why is he sitting at the desk? But figured it out shortly thereafter. But yeah, sports anchor and obviously as the broadcaster on UMaine football as well. Jack, you have a great night. We'll talk to you soon.
Love talking to you guys. Thanks for having me on. And Jim, I think a lot of people who watched would agree that is the best part of the show when I signed off. So I appreciate it. And hopefully I don't have to pinch hit again soon, but I will if needed.
I thought the sign-off was great. Great smile, too. I think you were just happy it's over.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
There he goes. Jack Webb joining us on the Heroes Hotline, brought to you by Heroes Sports Grill and Entertainment Center. Heroes is the place to be, the official sports grill of The Drive, the Morning Roast, and Ticket TV in downtown Bangor, and at heroesportsgrill.com. And we're also brought to you by Fat Panda Boba Tea and Market on Harlow Street in Bangor, next to Goslin's Bakery. Sip fresh boba, explore snacks, ramen, and their tasty Jamaican patties. And we're brought to you by Natural Lawn of America. If you want a greener, healthier lawn without harsh chemicals, Natural Lawn of America can help. Organic-based care and tick ranger protection. Call 721-0600. That's 721-0600. Or go to naturallawn.com/Bangor-ME. Natural Lawn of America for naturally healthier lawns. We'll be right back with a SportsCenter weather forecast and Bob Nightengale from USA Today.
As we looked to upgrade the team, that was an opportunity for us. And in Adley, you get impact on both sides of the ball. He's a premium defender, switch hitter. So he's a great fit for our park. He doesn't strike out. He walks and gets on base. He can hit for damage. I think there's a ton to like about him. Had some overlap in terms of staff who had known Adley and got incredibly high marks for the makeup, for the leadership, for the type of teammate and person that he is. And so, I think the short answer is yes. You certainly think about trying to minimize any potential disruption to the group, but also felt like everything that we learned about Adley pointed us to him being able to step in and build relationships with the coaches and the pitching staff and settle right into our infrastructure.
Once again, Craig Breslow of the Red Sox talking about the Adley-Rutschman trade. Of course, the switch-hitting catcher coming to the Red Sox in a deal yesterday for some minor league talent, some prospects. I want to remind you, coming up later in the show, right around 5:20, we'll talk with Chris Hatfield from SoxProspects.com. We'll talk about some of those prospects who are heading to Baltimore and what is left in the Red Sox system. We are efforting, Bob Nightengale, Mark?
We are indeed. Get the busy signal, which you don't run into a lot in 2026 because...
Trade deadline's over.
I know, and most phone lines just kind of bypass the busy signal these days. You have an option to get around it because you can respond via text, via whatever.
It's a home office situation?
I don't know. I'm wondering what kind of line we're working with here. About to try to text it, and we'll see if we get a response.
All right. I mentioned earlier about a great thing that your local family-owned McDonald's on Main Street, Wilson Street in Brewer, and Union Street in Bangor. Local owner Marty Ekman and his crew doing a great thing. Just going to look it up here very quickly. I had it a short time ago. There it is. But they're doing a special event at the Brewer location, 525 Wilson Street in Brewer. Proud member of the Brewer and Bangor community for 40 years plus, and they want to give back, so they are sponsoring a back-to-school backpack event. They are hosting where they'll be giving away backpacks with some essential school supplies to those in need. It's coming up on Wednesday. That would be tomorrow, August 5th. And the time is from 4 to 6 p.m. So tomorrow from 4 to 6 p.m., while supplies last, they have 250 backpacks. Again, the backpack and some school supplies included. They'll be doing it at the Brewer McDonald's location, again, 525 Wilson Street in Brewer. And they're looking forward to the opportunity to support the students and the community, and thanks to Marty Ekman and his company for doing that great event. Again, back-to-school backpack event at the Brewer McDonald's, 4 to 6 p.m. tomorrow while supplies last. They have 250 backpacks, and a great thing for our local community. All right, let's get back to the Heroes Hotline. Joining us on the line from USA Today, it's Bob Nightengale, veteran reporter. And Bob, your thoughts on yesterday's trade deadline? We've been disappointed in some trade deadlines in recent years, but plenty of activity. Of course, a lot of teams still in the postseason mix.
Yeah, no, I love what the Red Sox did, being that aggressive and, grabbing Elliot Rutschman. I know he hasn't, he struggled this year, but he still made the All-Star team and, certainly a great clubhouse leader too, great catcher. So, yeah, love to see what they did there. And, yeah, I think they're going to catch the Yankees. They may catch the Rays too. I mean, right now the Red Sox are, I think, the best team in the American League.
Yeah, only 2 behind the Yankees right now, entering play tonight in the AL East there for second place. How do you, when you see a trade go down like the Adley Rutschman deal for a handful of prospects yesterday, so much was made about the price that Boston paid, giving up number 2, 3, 5, 7, and 17 in the system. But at the other end of it, you get a 3-time All-Star to impact your major league team for the rest of the year. How do you kind of balance those scales?
No, I like the fact that Craig Breslow went for it. I mean, prospects are okay. Look what the Dodgers gave up for Mookie Betts. Oh, they're all except for those prospects. Nobody turned out. So you just don't know. And you're still going to draft every year, so you can get more prospects. I like what the Phillies do with the San Diego Padres. Go for it. Try to get a World Series parade, and worry about prospects later. Because you never know if the guy will become an all-star player or be washed out in AAA.
And, you never know when you're going to have an opportunity again. I mean, the Padres are an interesting organization because they have gone for it. They have been brave. They have been aggressive. It just hasn't paid off. Now, of course, the unfortunate thing for them, they're in the same division as the LA Dodgers. But if you're going to pat Craig Breslow on the back for being aggressive, I mean, the Padres have done it pretty much year after year after year. Do you think they have any chance of breaking through after getting a couple of starting pitchers?
Yeah, I mean, at least now they have 4 starting pitchers. Before they had 2 starting pitchers and were going bullpen games 5 days a week. It was crazy. So, unfortunately for them, I saw where Pivetta walked off the mound in a rehab assignment. So obviously that's not a good sign. They may still have Joe Musgrove come back. But, yeah, they got the best bullpen in baseball. So they have a shot. I mean, they should have beat the Dodgers a couple of years ago. But they need Manny Machado to start hitting Tatis and Jackson Merrill, to give them a realistic shot.
While we're on the subject of the Dodgers, I'll have you answer our drive poll, which we're going to bring up in the next question. That is, what's worse for baseball, the Dodgers running things as they are, or the bottom of the league that doesn't seem to have any real intent on spending or competing?
Well, that's what drives the big market teams crazy, whether it's the Dodgers, Yankees, Red Sox. It's just, they put all this money in revenue sharing, spend the money. Don't put in your own bank account. That's why I feel we're so furious with the Pirates. It's like, they're making, I think they're top 5 as far as making money, and we're spending on the field. So that's why Major League Baseball, when they proposed the salary cap, obviously be a salary floor, forcing these teams to come up to like $150 million and not, you have around $60 or $70 million, like it was 20 years ago.
Do you think we'll see baseball in 2027, or do you think it's heading towards an untenable situation the way it is currently?
No, I really do. I'd be stunned if we don't have a season. Now, how many games we'll see. I still think we'll have at least a 140-game season. But when you talk to both sides, I think everyone's come to an agreement it's going to take at least one missed paycheck, if not two. And the players, they get paid the second week of the season, and then every 2 weeks afterwards. So I think only then, will we know, okay, who's gonna buckle first.
Bob, just want to get your appraisal on where the game is. Again, you've been covering it forever. You've been through strikes and lockouts, and we did one of our polls last week. We do it on Facebook, and we get a pretty good response. And right in the middle of a Red Sox run,
the greatest month in team history,
the greatest run in team history, we asked the question, would you miss baseball if there was a stoppage next year? And almost 3/4 of the responders said they wouldn't miss it. That was shocking to me. I thought I can see 50-50, but it was 75%, about 25%. How do you feel with the state of the game as we talk about a lockout or a work stoppage next year?
Well, as you say, the game is still very strong. Attendance is up, TV ratings are up. I feel like more younger audience now are watching games. So I think everything's going good there. And, I think the one question is, would you be willing to miss a summer of baseball for a salary cap? Especially if you're a small market team. Kansas City, Milwaukee, what have you, and do that. That might be, a better thing. And owners are sticking together right now. They swear up and down that these teams will lose this much money. The Mets have lost $1 billion over 5 years. That sort of thing. So, we'll see. I think no matter what happens, I think they want to curb the expenditures on top and get the Dodgers getting Scooble, even though it just cost them draft picks. Again, they became the poster boys now, for the lockout. The Mets have spent more money than they have the last 5 years.
Are you a proponent for a salary cap in baseball?
No, I don't think we need that, but we need something just to curb the make sure that it's a smaller gap. Instead of $430 million to $100 million, something like that. The Dodgers they're chipping right in. They spent about $200 million in revenue sharing, $180 in luxury tax. So they're doing their part. It's just the bottom teams aren't spending. So you need some of these teams like, Miami and Tampa Bay to have a better chance of winning year after year. I know MLB will argue and look at Kansas City Chiefs. Same market, but here they were having a dynasty, but we know the Royals will never have a dynasty.
When we go back to the AL East, talking trade deadline here, you said you thought the Red Sox will end up catching the Yankees. Only 2 games separate them right now. Looking at the moves that the Yankees made, though, if Aaron Judge gets healthy and they get their pitching in order, plus you add those 2 bats to the lineup in Garcia Jr. and Ramos, that's a dangerous team, don't you think?
Yeah, they should have done more. They didn't get a catcher. The back end of the bullpen is still very weak. I thought they had a weak trade deadline. I don't think Judge is coming back. I really don't.
Really?
I think if they thought he was coming back, they would have been much more aggressive at the deadline. And the bottom line is, why go all the way in if you don't have Judge? It's really not going to matter.
Especially if you see that runaway train, the Boston Red Sox, in your rearview mirror.
Catching up on them.
The white flag is coming up. Yeah. All right. Hey, Bob, as always, we appreciate you taking some time for us, and we hope you have a great evening and enjoy the rest of the baseball season. I'm sure we'll catch up soon.
All right. Look forward to it. Thank you, guys.
All right. Bob Nightengale from USA Today joining us on the Heroes Hotline. I mentioned earlier in the show that coming up in the Drive at 5, we'll be giving away 4 VIP passes to the Tim's Plumbing 100. This weekend, you'll be in the Tim's Plumbing tent and enjoy all the festivities at Ricky Craven's Speedway. It is this Saturday, August 8th, and the Speedway will roar to life with the Tim's Plumbing 100 featuring the Darlings Pro Stock Series and $4,000 to the winner. It's one of the biggest nights of the season. Bring the family out and experience the excitement of the Tim's Plumbing 100 this Saturday. And again, that's coming up later in the show. We're going to have something special coming up here in just a moment. Before we get to that, just want to remind you we are brought to you by UMaine Athletics, and this fall it's time to pack the stands at Alphons Stadium and cheer on Maine football. Jack Webb, who joined us earlier talking about the quarterback battle there for the Black Bears. Season tickets are now on sale, and they'll give you the best value and the best seats for every home game. Visit goblackbears.com/tickets. And want to remind you to connect to the Ticket social media channels for all things The Ticket and Ticket TV at 929 The Ticket on Facebook, 929 The Ticket on Instagram, sports.net.maine on TikTok, and our YouTube page, Sportsnet Maine.
Now, before we get to this next thing, that if you've been listening to the show for the last week or so, you know it'll be a cue to call coming in a moment. I was kind of distracted while you're doing that reading through all the entrants we have so far. Obviously, 1 4-pack of tickets has already been given away. Derek and Bangor will be heading down to Fenway Thursday night to enjoy the series finale against the White Sox. But the towns that we have in this so far, it's not just like Bangor, Brewer. It's quite spread out.
That's
between like Otis, Sangerville, Dover, Foxcroft, Penobscot. You got Gouldsboro in there, Dexter, Waterville. Cherryfield is in the mix. We got Blue Hill, Morrill, Steuben, Lee, Ripley, Franklin. Like, we're getting into places that we don't normally hear from.
Very cool. And you know, Mark, back in the early days, I wanted to hear where people were from.
Yep. We used to have promo like 10 years ago, just promos of people saying where they're from.
All over the reach of the ticket on display once again, and I believe we're going to see it here in a matter of seconds.
Yeah, last name in there. Shout out to Nick from Beals Island.
There you go.
Just happened to notice him at the bottom.
Bada bing.
All right, people, dial us up.